Wadau, how are you people doing? Remember when I did that video and I told you guys we are at war? And most of you understood what I meant, but some of you did not understand what I was talking about. When I said that we are at war as Africans, and all these things you see happening in our country, Kenya, all over Africa, it's because we are at war. And the funny thing is that some of us don't realize it. So I want to post two videos here today. I want to do this first one, talking about these two French gentlemen. This guy, Thierry Breton, and another French general, talking about how this, first of all, let's start with the headline. It's the imbecile, it's the imbecility of Emmanuel Macron that opened the eyes of Africans. Okay? Read that statement and understand it very well. This guy is saying that we Africans, our eyes were closed the whole time. We all know that because Francophone countries were forced to sign the document called Pact for Continuation of Colonization, which for years meant that France could control everything in those countries, from the minerals to the mineral rights, to the rights of selling them weapons, training their militaries, and controlling their economies. And also, that meant that they had to bank almost 80% of their foreign reserves in France, and France had the right to invest in those foreign reserves without them having to disclose anything. Anyway, that is a whole nother story. But this is the point. When I told you guys we were at war, this is exactly what I meant. This guy is saying that Emmanuel Macron was an imbecile because he opened the eyes of Africans. Let's go to the second slide. First of all, I want you to realize this guy is not just anyone. This guy is the European Commissioner for Internal Market. This guy is a big wig is in the big leagues in the European Union. Okay, and he was the former French minister for I think mining and finance. Okay, so this guy has been in politics and he's a big businessman. And this is what he's saying about Africa, or was saying about Africa back then, but still has the same sentiments, because as you will see in the next slide, what the French general was saying about Africa. Okay, Wadau, you're still with me? So I want us to read this together. Read from the second, fourth, last paragraph. Okay, Macron needs to go. If not, France will suffer. Europe needs to unite to fight this new Africa version. Do you understand that? Europe needs to unite to fight this new Africa version. The new Africa version is what the Traores, the Malis, the Nigers are doing. Okay? What we're trying to preach to our people. Revolution and taking power from these puppet governments. Let's continue, Wadau. Europe needs to unite to fight this new version of Africa. Okay? If one of the heads of the fascists fall, the others will abandon the vision. Okay? They mean what? If one of the Traores of Africa right now will fall, all the other ones will abandon the vision of uniting Africa and on the awakening of Africa. Let's read the last sentence. What does it say? Africa does not have a history, so Africa can't manage the world. Africa does not have a history, so Africa can't manage the world. This is what these people think about us. I told you guys before, these people think about us as things. To them, we're not people, we are things. And that is why this man can open his mouth and say such things. Okay, let's go to the Facebook post he had made. This is the Facebook page this guy had made, but it's in French, so I did a translation. Let's see the translation. So this is the translated version of that post. Let's read together. Wadau. Thierry Breton, former French Minister of Economy, said it was the idiotic kid Emmanuel Macron who opened the eyes of Africans. If French loses it's supposed to be colonies, not columns. If French loses its colony, be sure, listen to this part correctly, and I want you guys to listen very clearly. If France loses its colonies, be sure of one thing: our children and our great-grandchildren will go to Africa to seek for their earnings. Immigration will change sides, meaning Africa will stop migrating to Europe. People, our African brethren will stop dying in the Mediterranean and the Red Sea trying to cross to Europe. Okay, that means what? They will start coming to Africa. Read this with me, Wadau. Immigration will change sides. Macron must go, otherwise French will suffer. Europe must unite to fight this new version of Africa. If one of those cool leaders falls, the others will give up. Africa has no history. It cannot manage the world. I told you guys we are at war. I told you we are dealing with people who cannot afford to lose what they get from Africa. The country France cannot afford to survive without getting free uranium from Niger, without getting all the gold, all the mineral wealth that they get from these francophone countries. They cannot afford to survive without having to take 80% of the national reserves of these countries and investing in their stock exchange and benefiting from it. They know very well that their military industries, their wine industries depend on all these things. If they can't get those things for free as they've been getting them, they will fall and fall hard. Okay, Wadau, listen to what the general. This is the general I was talking about, okay? In case you didn't know Wadau, this is the general I was talking about. Look at what this general is saying. Former French general calls for renewal European commitment to Africa. This is exactly what the other guy is saying. Remember what the other guy was saying, that Europe needs to unite to take over Africa again? It is because these are the generals who have been pillaging and profiting from looting and pillaging African countries, especially the countries who are former French colonies. When I tell you guys we are at war, and if we don't rise up and fight for our countries, Wadau, we are going to fight. We're going to fall. These people have shown us, the Sahel leaders, the Traores of Burkina Faso, the leaders of Niger and Mali and Chad have shown us that the only way to get away from this puppet system, the only way from getting away from our president going to other countries to take orders so that he can come to our country and pass insane draconian rules and bills and laws, is to do the Traore way, to go the Niger way, to go the Burkina Faso way. There's no other way, because that is the only way that will make these people start running like little mice. What these people are doing right now, these generals and that minister are doing, is running like little mice. Because, and it's not only them, I can tell you, Wadau, it's the whole Europe, because they've realized that if African countries wake up to the realization of our mineral wealth, our arable land, we can feed ourselves. We don't need any GMOs. We can improve and create our own hybrid crops that will naturally maintain their value, their gene as African seeds, indigenous African seeds. We don't need GMOs. We have our own scientists. We have our own agronomists who can take our seeds and do simple or culture that can maintain the integrity of the seeds and still remain our indigenous seeds as Africans. But this will lie to us that we need GMOs to feed ourselves. That only GMOs can be able to do to feed the world and feed Africa. Listen to this and listen to this well. And you people, I'm telling you, go and read Wadau. Go and read, because you need to start reading these things so that you understand how much these people are panicking. Because they've realized if Africa wakes up to the realization that we've been used for years, we've been manipulated, we've been taken for granted, we can feed ourselves, we can form our own armies, we can create our own military equipment, we can form our own CDCs, we can heal ourselves using our own herbs and create our own medicines. We can do everything. We can create our own things. They know that is the end of them. That is the true definition of who is third world and who is first world. That is why you hear this guy saying that if Africa continues to rise the way it's rising right now, their children will be coming to Africa to ask for jobs. They'll be coming to Africa to ask for loans. Africa will truly be the paradise it was supposed to be. Peace out, Wadau.